I'm going to do something unusual here. Most product demos go directly to show you what the product looks like and all the great things that you can do. But one of the things I want to demonstrate here is how simple and easy it is to get started with Recital, and in particular, how quickly you can go from having messy, disorganized folders or directories with messy sets of contracts, drafts, even things that aren't contracts, to being fully organized in Recital in a matter of hours. So let's get underway here. I'm going to create an account, and you create accounts in Recital with your existing company credentials for Google or Microsoft. We also support Okta for single sign-on. Here I'm going to create a new account for Elise Powers. And I've got standard Google authorizations. And I now have my Recital account. There's in general 4 first steps to get everything set up. One is connecting your cloud storage so that Recital can find and organize contracts on your cloud storage. Secondly is connecting your email, your Outlook or your Gmail, because Recital can automatically find and organize new contracts, whether they're draft versions or signed contracts. Recital can automatically pull those from your email into Recital. The next step is to install 2 add-ins, an add-in for your email, Outlook or Gmail, and then install an add-in for Word to support contract reviews as you're reviewing a draft contract in Word. Today, what I want to show you is connecting cloud storage, and we'll see Recital go to work very quickly to start creating a repository. So I'm going to add in this case, a Google Drive account. We support direct integrations to all the major cloud storage providers. So if you're on Microsoft, that means SharePoint and OneDrive. If you're on Google, it means Google Drive. And there's other cloud storage providers supported as well. So I've connected my Google Drive, and I've got control over which folders I connect. One of the things that's important here is I don't have to organize these folders ahead of time. I don't have to make sure that just the right documents are in them, that there's no extraneous documents. Recital is going to take care of all of that for me. So I can simply select this contracts folder, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it, click connect, and now that folder is connected to Recital. And if we go look at our records, of course, there's nothing yet because we just made that connection to Google Drive. What's happening in the background now is that Recital is scanning and processing all the files in those folders. And again, those folders can be as messy as possible. We're already starting to see results of that. Recital is very speedy in processing contracts, processing about 5,000 documents per day. So for most companies, that means they can have all of their historical records organized within about 24 hours. If you've got tens of thousands of historical records, and that's more a matter of days. But it's not weeks, and it's certainly not months. And all of this is happening automatically without any manual effort. No manual effort on part of your legal team, no manual effort on the part of legal operations or on the part of your IT department. So the processing that Recital is doing here, and one, it's distinguishing between contracts and non-contracts. It is recognizing that there are multiple versions of contracts and grouping those versions together. It is detecting contracts that are signed, and Recital can distinguish between unsigned, partially signed, and fully signed contracts. And very importantly, Recital is actually detecting relationships. So relationships between master agreements and statements of work or order forms and amendments. And again, all without any manual work on your part. And the last thing is that Recital is extracting key properties for the agreements. So this is the kind of thing that then allows you to get reports on your contracts, and in particular, to be able to manage upcoming renewals and to be prepared for due diligence. I've shown you what I wanted to here, which is the ease of getting started and the speed at which Recital goes to work. And in a matter of a few minutes here, we've already got several contract records organized. We've got one here that Recital detected is signed. And as I say, this will be completed in a matter of hours. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to go to another demonstration account, which is already populated with data, so we can see what the result of this would be after a few hours of processing. So let's go to that other account. So we're now looking at a specific agreement, a master subscription agreement, after all of Recital's processing. Everything on this screen was automatically extracted and organized by Recital. So Recital extracted the name of the agreement. It's a master subscription agreement. Recital extracted the party names. Recital determined that this contract was fully signed. We can verify that. If we go to the bottom of the agreement here, there we go. So Recital is able to detect signatures, whether they're wet ink signatures, whether they're electronic signatures, or whether they're images of signatures, as we see here. For many folks, one of the things that Recital does here that's quite unique is it keeps a link to the original source of the contract. So here I'm seeing a link to where this document is in my company's Google Drive. And if this document had been found in email, I would see a link to the specific email where it was found. If it was found in other sources like SharePoint, OneDrive, I would see those links here as well. Then Recital here shows related records. So in this case, this is a master agreement, so there are no parent records. But Recital did find an order form that accompanies this master agreement. And Recital makes it easy to navigate to that order form and to see all of the details, including the fact that this is a fully signed order form. Then it's easy to navigate back to our master agreement here. The next key part of what Recital offers here is the extraction of these key properties. So again, everything that you're seeing here in terms of properties has been automatically extracted by Recital. So the effective date, the term of the agreement, in this case, it's a master agreement with an indefinite term. So there's no specific expiry date. It's the order forms that have specific expiry dates. There's no auto renewals here. Recital looks for key provisions, like whether you can terminate for convenience, and then also for what other termination provisions are in the agreement. Recital is looking for governing law, jurisdiction, and very importantly, in terms of being prepared for due diligence, it looks for restrictions on assignment, restrictions on change of control. And it's also looking for other key provisions that you would find in commercial agreements. One other thing I'll note here is Recital keeps a version history of all of the drafts that led up to the signed agreement itself. So this is all great. Now what? Recital's reporting capabilities then harness all of that extracted data to be able to enable you to get reports for your own use and reports that can be useful to other stakeholders within your company, whether that's finance, sales, or others. So I want to cover a couple of specific examples here. So from this reporting view, I want to find all of my executed contracts that are expiring in the next 90 days. And in a couple of clicks, I now have that view of those contracts that are expiring. So let's scroll over and see here. There we go. Both of these contracts are expiring at the end of December. And very importantly, one of them actually has an auto renewal provision. So I probably want to pay attention to that so that I don't get a vendor contract automatically renewed. Let me clear those filters and now give you an example here in terms of being ready for due diligence. I'm going to search for all executed contracts, and I'm going to search for contracts that have restrictions on assignment. And so again, within a couple of clicks, I now have a report on my contracts that have restrictions on assignment, and I have a description of what those restrictions are, contract by contract. And of course, I can download this to a spreadsheet, both with the documents and the metadata here, that I can share with others in the company, that I can share with external counsel if there's a deal underway for some kind of financing or other corporate transaction. So again, the key point here is in a few hours, maybe in a day, I have gone from having contracts dispersed across many folders in cloud storage, maybe even multiple cloud storage providers or other sources. And within a few hours, a day, I can get to the point where I can actually get clear reports on contracts that are expiring. I can get reports on contracts that have any kind of property, including the kinds of properties that you need for due diligence. And of course, there's the ability to control what in a particular report so that you can eliminate fields that don't make sense for you. With all of this, of course, comes very powerful search capabilities. So I'm now looking at a view of all of my records. I can filter those just by executed contracts or just those contracts that are still in negotiation. And I can search, obviously, by any particular keyword, but I can search by other things. So by party name, I can get all contracts with a particular party just by typing their name, or even just by typing on the chip here. And I have all records with a counterparty at my fingertips. I can search for contracts depending on who the recipient or who the sender of an email is. So one of the benefits of Recital is you don't have to search your inbox and search one or more cloud storage systems or directories in different places. You can search centrally from Recital, and Recital is essentially pulling together all of your sources of contracts into one place to make that searching very easy and straightforward. So those are the key capabilities around being able to very quickly go from having contracts spread out across directories, across different cloud storage providers into Recital within a few hours and being able to do some very powerful things in terms of managing the information in your contracts. As I said, we're not going to delve deeply into Recital's other capabilities around managing in-flight contracts, but I think I've got time here to show you one quick example of what you can do there. So we're looking here at a record for a contract that is still in negotiation. And this presents us with a full version history of all of the files, all of the drafts of this contract that have gone back and forth. And again, everything on this page was automatically found and organized by Recital without manual work. And that happens by being connected to your cloud storage and also being connected to your inbox, whether that's Outlook or Gmail. And so one of the benefits of this is that Recital makes it very easy to get the right comparison or any comparison that you want simply by selecting two files, clicking compare, and there you have your comparison. And of course, you can download that comparison to Word where you can accept or reject changes, you can make comments, you can make edits, and so forth. One of the things that's important here is underlying this is a very advanced comparison engine, the kind that can deal well with changes in tables, as well as all the regular text changes that you find in contracts. Even more so, you can get to this comparison directly from your email inbox. Recital also provides an AI-generated change summary that you can use to get a quick glance at what the other party has changed, or in general, what's changed between versions. And you could use this in an email to update colleagues or stakeholders on the status of important negotiations. If I do quickly go open this up in Word, I now have that red line document just as a regular Word document. And of course, I can accept, reject changes. And I've got the Recital add-in for Word, which provides various capabilities to support the review and editing of this contract. So one of the things that the Recital add-in provides is the ability to find alternative clause suggestions. So if I select any clause in my Word document, I can click search here. And again, this is working in production, even though this is demonstration data. So in one click here, I have results for similar clauses from my company's own prior work. In this case, I've even got a shared library set up with my colleagues, but I can also search all of my company's prior work product here to find a clause that might be relevant. And even better, I can narrow down search results by particular counterparty. So if I remember a deal where I drafted the perfect clause to address some edge case scenario, Recital makes it very easy to be able to find that needle in a haystack. And of course, in terms of creating a clause library, it's very straightforward to import templates or other standard clauses simply by uploading those files, and Recital automatically parses the files that you upload into the constituent clauses for your library. There's a lot more here, but in the interest of time, we'll leave it there for today.